Our first session of our Madagascar fishing trip was to basically head out on Joz Joz, our tender boat, to see what we could get, and we managed to pick up some super cool fish. But ultimately we wanted to get onto submarine rock. We came here in 2011, so we've been dreaming about coming back here for well over 2 years. Man, what an absolutely epic place this is. Yeah, so far it's been pretty crazy. Couple of big bust-ups.
Sure. I got badly smoked. There was a big cooter. Jeez. Yeah, unfortunately, I'll put too much pressure.
We put ourselves in the right spot at the right time, and yeah, if we were ever going to hit it big, now was going to be the time.
Just the sight of submarine rock is enough to get any sort of hardcore shore-based anglers blood racing, and yeah, for me that is one of the ultimate spots. It's perfectly positioned from a current point of view to work, and when we decided that that's where we were going, I was pretty amped. I mean, we were all fired up. We couldn't wait to get onto that spot. I think the crew were a little apprehensive at first, a little bit of a bumpy landing, but we got in there and we got onto the rock, and the wind dropped off and it just turned into a beautiful day, or beautiful afternoon and evening.
And yeah, that first afternoon on submarine rock was special. I mean, we got smoked a couple of times. But we caught a couple of unbelievable fish. I caught one of the biggest garfish I'd ever caught. Needless to say that I think it was the first of many on this trip. Didn't realize how many would end up catching, but it was nice to get all the same. And we had a couple of other fish in between, and between Barry and myself we were sweating like absolute donkeys, but it was just absolutely worth all the effort. So amazing to be fishing in probably one of the, I'd quite comfortably say, best spinning destinations in the world that you could actually wish for. And the options and opportunity of what you could actually catch is mind-blowing. When the fish are wild like that, you're always on edge, because you can get the fish of your life at any minute. It's just such an incredibly exciting way to fish. The sun's going down, you got a line in the water, you're standing with a good mate. It's absolutely postcard perfect.
Beautiful little fish. Probably one of the favorite sort of baits for kuta. Especially in places like America, where they call this type of fish ballyhoo, and it's an amazing bait fish. His proper name is obviously half-beak. You can see he's only got half a beak and a little mouth on top, and it's red at the end. I don't know what that's for, but well, he obviously picks stuff up with this and then eats it. Quite rough little teeth. Try it for bait.
days. This must be the biggest needle scale queenfish I've ever seen. It's not a double spotted, which is normally the big one. This is a normal salad fish, but it's huge. This is normal salad fish, it's not a double spot. Check the size of it.
Without sounding too fussy or having been too spoiled over the years, I mean, it's obviously, with fishing being my passion, I really enjoy all forms of fishing. But for me personally, catching fish spinning from the side it's like the pinnacle. For me, there's nothing better. It is just the most amazing thing and the most amazing feeling to catch a fish spinning from the side.
Everything seems to be very big here. It's a young torpedo scat, not young, big one.
You know, the afternoon wore on, and the sun had sort of pretty much gone down, and the moon had peeked its head up. Amazing to see a sunset and moonrise in such a spectacular sort of destination and place.
For the guys in Durban, how's that for a bay bonnie? It has to be one of the biggest scads or torpedo scads you've ever seen. They're just eating this new iron candy. This green glow color is absolutely amazing. Beautiful little fish.
We're on Submarine Rock and we picked up a few small fish, but we're here for a big kuta or giant trevally.
For the guys in Durban, how's that for a bay bonnie? It has to be one of the biggest skids, torpedo skids you've ever seen. While I was fighting the fish, Richard was standing there and I was watching him, and a kuta came out on the one side of him, went straight up in the air like that, and sort of did a lazy wag of its tail, dragged back into the water on the other side of him. It was amazing. I'm waiting for the kuta. This thing's a trying this thing while it's sinking.
And it was one of those where I'd actually made my last cast and I turned around to Barry and I said, listen, I think it's time to go. I think we better go. I was using a Salmo slider, which is an incredible lure because you can use it as a stick bait and fish it incredibly slow, or you can just wind the thing fast, and it's got the most incredible action. And because we were actually in a little bit of a hurry to go and try and make this treacherous exit from Submarine Rock, I was just winding the lure in fast, and needless to say, this thing got absolutely smashed.
Here's the kuta. I'm worried about where it's going. No! No way! Yeah. That was unbelievable. I'm fighting this fish and the kuta just jumped right out of the air. Unbelievable.
I'd had only about 20 meters of line left, and this fish ate this lure and just took off like an absolute rocket. And now I wasn't actually sure because it took about 150 meters on its first run.
I don't know. My jeepers. This thing took a lot of line.
I wasn't sure if it was a kuta or what the hell it was. But needless to say, this thing was, and I knew it was a big fish, and I knew I had to make it count.
But you never know. Maybe get lucky.
With it being a little bit late and so on, and Barry had said, okay, well, you fight this fish, I'm going to quickly go and pack up all the gear and so on. I still had no idea what it was. I couldn't understand why, you know, obviously if it was a GT, it would have the big head nods, and if it was a Kuta, it would have been, you know, it would have taken another run and peeled, and it would have a violent sort of jerking head shake to try and sort of get the lure out of its mouth. But I wasn't picking up any of that, and anyway, I fought the fish, and I fought eventually Barry came back and...
How far, Rich? When I say slack, don't force it, but don't give it any slack. Like that. The rod must be bent all the time, but you'll shake it hook out so quickly. Like that. Set it on the surface.
It's always amazing to have somebody with Barry's knowledge and experience when you're fighting a fish like that, because, you know, as it started to get closer, that submarine rock is quite a treacherous area. It's got a lot of ledges, and you could easily lose a fish there.
It must be a bus creature.
We're going to bring it here.
As long as you're over it.
It was actually quite incredible to have Barry standing by my side, you know, with his headlamp going, okay, Rich, pull the fish this way, don't do that, don't let it go, don't let it go right, don't, you know, okay, it's arcing, it's coming around. Still a long way.
How far?
No. Maybe 10, 15 meters.
Lift your rod up, otherwise. Coming back. You're winning, bro.
And yeah, he literally, you know, he coached me through that fish, and at one point it went down to the right, and I thought, oh, this thing's gonna go under the ledge, I'm gonna lose this fish, and I got very, very nervous, but then it came around again, and then Barry I felt a little bit more relieved, and Barry just said, listen, I think you've done the job here, I think we've got this.
You don't want him to dip his, that's lovely, he's walking around, he's coming back. This is it. This job is done now. He's walking now, he's coming back. Keep pulling, keep pulling.
But needless to say, only when the fish came a little bit closer and broke surface did we see this GT. It was, I mean, a fish of that size, I'm not sure what the weight was, but Barry estimated it to be probably around 30 kilos.
It's a GT. Oh, class 2. Just stay on top of it. Oh.
We could see why it had fought so strangely, because it was actually foul hooked in the bottom of his jaw. Very nicely hooked, but foul hooked nonetheless. And in the end, yeah, I've got a funny little tattoo on my arm. Well, it's not a funny tattoo, it's quite a serious tattoo. It says everything happens for a reason. And in this particular occasion, everything did happen for a reason. The reason I managed to land that fish was because it had actually been foul hooked underneath in the jaw. If it had been hooked in the mouth, it would have gone down and tried to rub the lure off, and I would have definitely got bust up. But on this particular occasion, with it being foul hooked, I managed to get it out and land it, and yeah, with a great team effort from everybody and a lot of Barry's help, we managed to get the fish out. We'd waited a long time to get a big fish like that off submarine rock, and yeah, I was fortunate enough to be the person that ended up getting that fish, and I'll be forever thankful for that. And that most certainly, that's not the biggest GT I've caught in my life, but that probably goes straight to #1 on my GT list, even though it wasn't the biggest, because just to catch it in that particular place is an absolute memory of a lifetime that I'm never ever going to forget. It was absolutely mind-blowing. I still just get a little wry smile on my face now when I think about it.
Good one, Johnny.
Oh man, we'd been waiting for a big fish, and Barry had been catching all the bonnies, and I was just persevered a little bit with my big lure, and just at the last minute there I got it on. But I tell you what, that GT, that fight with Bangkok rules, boy, and with this rock and everything here, I think we were lucky. I was lucky to get him out, but I'm bucketed now. I had to put a lot of pressure on him, but now we got to try and get off this place in the dark. That's going to be an interesting story in itself.
Cherry on the top was Richard's GT, which was amazing. I mean, I wouldn't mind betting that that's the best fish that's ever been landed off that one. And certainly on that new shore game Assassin, I mean, it was an amazing fish, kind of fish that you want to hook on that sort of rig. So yeah, that was an amazing evening, absolutely unbelievable.
Make sure you tune in next show where we're back on submarine rock and the Cuda put on an aerial display that'll blow your mind.